What's going on YouTube? Eddie here. Welcome back to my channel. I appreciate it as always. And today we're going to be diving into a topic that a lot of people ask me about, and that is what's the real differences between being a local driver versus a over-the-road driver or OTR, right? Now, whether you're thinking about maybe getting into the industry, or maybe you're just curious about the lifestyle, I'm going to break down the pros and cons of each so you guys can figure out which one might be the best fit for you. So let's get into it. Now, before we begin, I know I've been MI for a while. I just came back from Europe. I posted a whole bunch of videos on that, so go check that out. But if you like content like this one, guys, please consider subscribing, all right? I'm close to actually having over 1,000 subscribers, and I would love to reach that mark. And with your help, I'll be able to achieve that goal. So I'll do appreciate that. Now, first thing, right? What do these jobs actually look like, right? Well, a local truck driver, which is what I do here at JB Hunt Intermodal, works within a set area, right? Usually within one city or one state. So that just means that you're home every night, which is great, right? You have a consistent work shift. You deliver like normal to businesses, warehouses, and you get to have your own specific route, right? Which is great because you'll be familiar with your area that you go to, and you get familiar with your customer. Well, an over-the-road driver, though, on the other hand, is out on the road for extended periods of time, sometimes weeks at a time, actually, and you're covering long distances, often crossing multiple states. You're living out of your truck while you make your normal deliveries. Those are tough times for me, I remember. So I don't really miss it, maybe a little bit. That's pretty much the differences between each driver, right? But now let's talk about the differences in pay, the lifestyle, and the overall job experience. Money's always a big factor. Money is what the driving force of why people do anything. So let's talk about the pay. So over-the-road driver, they usually make more because they cover more. They cover more miles, right? They do longer hauls, right? So they get compensated for that, right? But remember, you're also spending a lot more because you gotta buy food, you gotta go shopping, right? You gotta pay for the showers, maybe even parking sometimes. Right? Those things can add up, right? Whereas local drivers tends to get paid on an hourly base or by per load. That's how we get paid, by load as well. So it is a lot less than what I was making when I was over the road. It didn't really justify me being out on the road as long as I was and missing home time. So those are the type of things that you're gonna have to figure out yourself, right? So as a local driver, we'll have a more consistent income with fewer out-of-pocket expenses. And I love the fact that, they give us a fuel card, and we collect the points on those cards, right? So get free drinks, free whatever that they have out there, right? So that's good. So if you're looking to maximize your earnings, if you're just focusing more on just money, well, then OTR might be the way to go. But if you want a steady pay that's consistent, being a local driver, it has its perks, so maybe that will work out for you. The work-life balance, however, this is where things start to split pretty significantly. Local drivers, we have a set schedule, like I mentioned, and we're home every night. Even though I'm home every night, I wanted to bring this to your guys' attention as well. I also barely still see my wife. Why? Because our shift is like the opposite. So by the time I wake up, she's already off to work. By the time I come home late, she's already sleeping. So I really don't see her unless on the weekends when we're both off. So keep that in mind. It's still not going to be perfect, right? But if you have a family or just have a normal routine, this is a big advantage. Better chance of not missing important moments at home. So Again, we're trying to start a family, and I didn't think being over the road was something I wanted to do. You know, it didn't make no sense, right? Over the road, on the other hand, you spend more times on the road. So you might be out for weeks at a time. And that could be tough on your kids, on your partner, if you just want to have a social life. You know, it could strain relationships, you know. But what's the trade-off? You get independence, a lot of it. You get your freedom. You just stare out the window. You don't have nobody bothering you, bugging you, bossing you around or anything like that. So if you prefer the solitude over being home every day, then maybe OTR is the way to go. The physical demand of the job is another big factor. Local drivers, some local drivers, not me, but some local drivers, you actually are unloading and loading your truck. So that could be a little more physically demanding, but we don't. As you can see here, I'm just chilling. I'm just waiting for them to call me here at this customer, letting me know that they finished unloading me, right? So I'm just chilling, waiting, collecting right now detention pay, right? But OTR drivers is usually less physically demanding. Most of the time you actually spent behind the wheel because you're sitting for long periods of time, and unfortunately that could just take a toll on your body, right? Like poor circulation being a huge issue here with most truck drivers. Plus, there's a challenge of finding healthy food alternatives. You know, you go to these truck stops and they have junk, right? Fitting in exercise of some kind, right? Just to get the heart going a little bit. Dealing with inconsistent sleep after a 10-hour run, you know, and then you're only sleeping for a little bit. Man, you can't sleep, you know, the noise background and all that stuff. The schedule can be daunting, guys. It really can. It's you got to be a different breed out here, I tell you. But either way, both local and over-the-road drivers offer solid career opportunities. But if you want to advance, it's really difficult to advance in trucking. Over-the-road drivers become owner-operators as well, and you can actually have your own business. But that has in itself other challenges, which is for a different video at a different time. But which one is right for you? I actually had to dabble on a little bit of everything that was available for trucking for me, just to see which I liked the best. And not only did I check out over the road or local, but I also had to check out different shifts and see what is that sweet spot that works well for my life and of course my wife's life as well, right? So you got to figure out what works best for you. So it all depends on what it is you are looking for. You know, if you want to focus on money, you know, and your independence and don't mind being away from home, well then, you know, your answer over the road might be the way to go. But if you prefer a steady schedule, you're more home time, a little bit more of a physical activity job, which is great, nothing wrong with that, right? Then local trucking could be a better fit. But at the end of the day, both options have their pros and their cons. It just comes down to what fits your lifestyle and career goals best. So let me know in the comments below, guys. Would you rather be a local driver or an OTR driver? And if you got the experience in the industry, share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you found this video to be helpful. And guys, I do appreciate your time, and till next time, take care.